Hello guys, welcome. My name is Amza and in today's video, let's talk about bridge table in Power Pivot. Creating a bridge table in Power Pivot is essential when you have many-to-many relationships or when you want to consolidate data from multiple tables that don't directly relate to each other through a single column. So without further much delay, let's go. The very first thing we are going to do is to enable Power Pivot. So I want you to open your Excel, navigate to File, click on More, Options. A box will appear. Go down and click on Add-ins. Click on Excel Add-ins. Click on Com Add-ins and click Go. This box is going to appear with some options. You will see Microsoft Office Power Pivot. I want you to mark it and click OK. Once you have done that, we are going to create 3 new sheets. After doing that, after enabling the Power Pivot, we are going to create 3 new sheets: the sales table, the product tables, and the customer table. So let's populate some details. For the sales table, it's going to have like 5 columns. Let's say 5 columns. So let's fill in the details. So let's arrange this properly. Fill in with some random details. Also a mistake. The reason why it's showing dates is because in your home section, if we navigate up, you can see is in the date option. So let's click on it and click general. The same thing with this, click general. So now for the product ID, let's fill in some random numbers. For the customer ID, random numbers also. For the sales amounts, for the sales amount, let's add a currency symbol like a dollar sign to it. So let's click and highlight down, drag down, navigate up in your home section, click this general and click currency. So now that is out of the way. Let's remember, I said you should create 3 new sheets. I created 3 new sheets: sales table, product table, and customers table. So let's navigate to my other sheet, which is the product table. So let's fill in some details. Here we are going to make use of 3 columns. Click and arrange properly. So let's click, drag down, and let's add a currency symbol to it. Okay, let's bring this to the middle. And let's also bring this to the middle. Okay, now we are done for the product table. Let's head over to the customers table. Already created mine. So let's fill in some details. Just 2 columns here. So let's center it properly. So now we have created our sales table, product table, and customer table. The next thing, remember, our aim here is to analyze the total sales. We want to analyze the total sales by customer name. Since there's no direct relationship between this customer table and the product table, you need a bridge table. So the next step is to load our data into Power Pivot. So let's load our data into Power Pivot. Let's start with the sales table. So we're going to click on any cell within the data. We're going to head over to Power Pivot in the Excel ribbon, which is this, and we're going to click Add to Data Model. All our data will be highlighted, so we click OK. The sales table is added to the data model. So now let's do the same for the rest tables. So let's cancel this. Let's do the same for the product table. Click any cell within your data. Go to the Power Pivot in your ribbon. Click on Add to Data Model. The data will be highlighted. Click OK. So let's do the same for the navigate to Power Pivot. Remember, click any cell within your data. Click Add to Data Model and click OK. Now, the next thing I want us to do is to create our bridge table. But before that, I want us to rename our table. It's showing table 11, table 10, and table 9. I don't want that. I want the table to be, for this table 9, I want it to be sales table. So double click and type in sales table. Enter. For the table 10, we want to rename it to the product table. Product table, click enter. For the table 11, we want to rename it to the customer table. The customer table, and click enter. So now that we are done with this, we're going to cancel it and we are going to create our bridge table. I've already created mine, so let me navigate here. So now, in the bridge sheet, we are going to create a table that include all unique combination of customer ID and product ID. So let's type in customer ID. Let's type it in capital letters. Customer ID and the product's ID and the product ID. So let me arrange this properly. Now we are done the customer ID and the product ID. So for the customer ID, let's give it a random number. Let's 21. The product ID same. Okay, let's center it properly. Now we are going to load the bridge table into Power Pivot. So click any cell here, navigate up, click on Add to Data Model. The data will be highlighted and click OK. And the name of our table is showing table 12. I don't want that. Let's double click and change it to bridge table. Bridge table. Let's click OK. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to create relationships. You can check out my video on relationships to understand this better. We are going to create a relationship here. So let's cancel this. Let's open our Power Pivot and let's click on manage. Click on manage at the far left. Click on manage. What are we going to do? We are going to switch to diagram view. So navigate up. You can see diagram view here. Click on it. And it is going to display all of our tables: the sales table, product table, customer table, and bridge table. Remember, it was showing table 8, 9, 12 before. So as we renamed it, the name of the table is showing at the top. So now what are we going to do here? We are going to create relationships. We are going to create relationships. I will leave a link to my video on relationships so you could check it out and understand how relationship really work. So now let's drag our customer ID from the bridge table, which is this. to customer ID in the customers table. So let's drag it, customer ID from the bridge table. Let's drag it to the customer ID here. Okay, you can see this line right here. It shows the relationship. Customer ID is highlighted in the bridge table and it is also highlighted in the customer table. Let's do the same for the product ID. You can see it's connected. Product ID is highlighted here. Product ID is highlighted here. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to drag the customer ID from the sales table, which is this, to the customer ID in the customers table. So let's drag customer ID from the sales table to customer ID in the customers table. So let's put it this way. You can see it is highlighted. So let's do the same for the product ID. Product ID from the sales table to the product ID in the product table. So it is connected. So now the next is to use the bridge table we created in the pivot table. Now that we are done doing this, let's cancel. So now the bridge table we created, let's use it in the pivot table. So how do you want to do that? So we're going to select a cell where you want to insert the pivot table. So let's select any cell, any empty cell here, select it. Anywhere you feel like inserting your pivot table, just select it. Now we're going to navigate to the insert and click on pivot table. Let's click on pivot table here, and we're going to click from data model. Click from data model and click OK. So now you can see all our details here, all our feeds here. We have the bridge table, sorry, we have the customer table, product table, and the sales table. So now we are going to add feeds into the pivot table. You can see this pivot table is empty, so let's add some fields in it. So what we're going to do is in the sales, we are going to expand the sales, product, and customers table, and we're going to drag customer name from the customers table to the rows. We are going to drag customer name here to the rows, and we are going to do the same for the product table. We are going to go to the product table and we are going to drag product name to the rows also below customer name. So now it is displaying right here. You can see we have Annie, we have Evelyn, we have Joyce, and we have Rose and Samantha, and each name have their own product. So now that you are done with that, you are going to drag sales amount from the sales table to the values table. So let's drag our sales amount from the sales table down to the value table. Let's drag it here. And guys, this is our pivot table. You see, for Annie, the product A is 200. Evelyn, product D is 800. Product E is 1000. So everything have a grand total of 3000. And there you have it. Your pivot table now accurately displays the total sales by customer name and the product name thanks to the bridge table. So guys, that's it for today's tutorial on creating a bridge table in Power Pivot. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give a like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome Excel tips and tricks. And if you have any question, please leave it in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. Thank you and peace out.